Hello, my name is Bryce and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Jacko Trades. In today's video, I want to explore using this guy to help me out with painting bodies. So this is a scanner slash vinyl cutter. It's called the Brother ScanNCut. They've got a couple of different models, but I think they're all somewhat similar. You can still get these on Amazon. I think they're about $400. I picked this up a couple of years ago with the idea of using it to help me cut out the decals for RC car bodies. So what it does is it'll scan whatever you feed into it, and then you can either cut what you've scanned, or you can save that scan file and cut out your own stickers or masks or whatever. So I started playing around with it when I was painting the body for the bus here for the MF-01X car that I just built up a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to play around with this, so what I did was I took the window mask sheet, I scanned it. So you can change the settings in the software so that it only picks up on the larger objects like the outlines for the window mask instead of the letters. So I scanned it, and then I didn't want to use my window mask sheet, so then I took that file and I cut out my own window mask using vinyl. And it actually worked out pretty good. I felt that it was pretty accurate in what it was cutting out, and I ended up using those to mask out the windows on this body. So one of the ideas I wanted to explore is, if you buy a lot of bodies from Team Blue Groove, you usually have to pick up a set of window masks from MCI, and they're not expensive, but it is a separate order typically, and you can combine orders, but for me, I like the idea of if I scan my own window masks, I can keep that file and I can cut them out again if I'm doing a lot of the same style of body. And of course the decals that we get from Tamiya and the decals we get from MCI are never pre-cut, so that's what I'm going to be exploring on this new body that I'm going to paint. So I'm going to be painting a body for my Tamiya MF-01X speedrun car. I'm basically doing the same body that I've been running, but I'm going to paint it up nice and neat. So we're going with the Tamiya Ford GT Mark II. So the window masks on this body are not that difficult. They're actually quite simple, but I'll probably scan and cut anyways, just because I don't like... Of all the steps you have to take to paint an RC car body, I think cutting out decals and window masks is my least favorite part of the process. So if I can somewhat automate that process or make it easier for myself, I'm going to try to do that. And then the decals on this body are, there's a lot, period. So I don't want to cut this out. And I'm under no illusion I'm going to use all these decals on this body, but I'd like to use enough of the decals that the body looks halfway decent before I smash it into a million pieces at 120 miles an hour. So that's kind of where we're at, is I want to go ahead and try out this machine for scanning and cutting out these decals, as well as these decals, as well as the window masks, and then seeing if that actually works and if that's going to make my life easier when it comes to applying the decals to the body. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and flip the camera around and we'll see how this little machine works. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Take care. Bye. Alright, so I think we're set up and ready to go. The machine's powering up. So the machine comes with two different cutting mats. There's a low tack, and then there's a standard tack. I tried the low tack, and it was hard to keep the vinyl stuck to it. So we're going to try the standard tack mat today. There's usually a film on these, protective film. You pull that off. So it has all these alignment features that it reads to help kind of find its where it is on the cutting mat. So just to kind of warm up, we're going to go ahead and try the decals, where we will go ahead and scan these, and we'll save that file, and then we'll also go ahead and cut the mask out from this sheet. So I'm fairly new to this machine, so we'll learn together. So there's different ways you can scan. You can do direct cut, scan to cut data, or scan to USB, where you can save that file. So I am going to initially do a scan to USB. So by default, it does a 12-inch by 12-inch scan. We could make that area smaller. So there's our image that we scanned. Now I am going to hit that guy there. It's going to find all the shapes. So I want to filter out the size of things so that we don't get things that we don't want. So I'm going to say anything less than 1 inch in height and width, we're going to ignore. So let's retrieve data from the machine. There's the data that we're retrieving. Let's so there are the files that we would cut. As we can see, there's some kind of weird things that we might not necessarily want to cut. All right, so we've got a clean file now. We messed around with some contrast settings, and then we can see that that's what we want to cut out. Let's go and zoom in to look at that closer. There you go. Let's go ahead and try cutting this out. It does a test cut. Pressure's auto. I found the auto is a little heavy, so, and it cuts through the paper, and we don't quite want to do that. I guess we could use transfer paper maybe. I don't know. Let's pull back on the pressure and see what it does. Okay, let's go ahead and start cutting. It cuts faster than I can cut. And the lines are probably straighter and smoother. All right, that is cut out. Do we cut through our paper? Yeah, see, we cut we cut a little too hard still, and we're going through the backing. All right, well that's done, so we can't undo that, but at least we have window masks now that are cut out. And now we're gonna go ahead and let's unload that. Let's go ahead and weed this. So weeding is basically just removing all the stuff that you don't want when you do vinyl cutting. So we'll pull this out. So it did a pretty good job of staying on the lines. You know, probably as good as I would be willing to spend on it. And we'll save our actual decals, or our window masks, for when we mask off the body. So I'm going to continue to make adjustments on that pressure so that we don't cut through the paper. So it's not perfect, but you know, for what we're doing with the RC stuff, I think this is totally acceptable. All right, so we'll save these for later. So let's go ahead and try this guy. The problem with this is it's larger than my cutting mat. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this decal sheet into 2 pieces and then do them separately. Actually, what we could do is we could work on this one first. And I think on this, what I'm mostly interested in is kind of the black stuff. This stuff here I'll probably cut out by hand if I use these decals. But this stuff, it would be nice to be able to cut that automatically. So what I might do is trim this out as one into 2 pieces as well to kind of pull this stuff off. All right, so we'll save that for later, and we'll see if today we can get this cut out with our ScanNCut. So the first step is it scans everything and takes in that image, and then you go through the settings to adjust the software so that it recognizes certain features from that scanned image. And we're doing a black and white scan. It will do color scans as well. All right, so I think we've worked out the settings and we got a good cut file. So let's go ahead and once again, I want to change my pressure, cut pressure, manual blade cut pressure. We're going to turn that down to 5. All right, so we saw that it was kind of pulling up some of the stickers. I'm going to see if I can save these stickers. Fortunately, they are black, so I can always cut them out because I've scanned the file. Okay, there we go. We have a completed decal sheet that's been cut out. So now let's do the true test. Did we cut through the paper? Oh, we cut through the paper still. Okay, so we're getting close. As you can see, we're not completely cut through the paper on all the decals. Just most of them. So maybe come up another. So the problem with this is we're going to lose our numbers on our decals, which is probably okay, but not ideal. It's just all part of the learning curve. Maybe this is why you want to do test cuts. In theory, right? So you're not messing up your decal sheet. But I'm using my decal sheet as my test cut. So I think we did a pretty good job. If we look at the sticker sheet, there's very little color being left behind. We see just like, fractions of a millimeter here and there. So I think, I could probably smooth out the curves on these. There's kind of, it's a little coarse, but I think if I was cutting it out with scissors, it would be probably just as rough. Maybe a little smoother with razor blade. So these came out nice because these are kind of, it's an outline, a very thin line. And so we managed to keep those lines with the decal. All right, so a trick that I'm trying out to close up these areas that I don't want to get cut is I go in with a dry erase marker and I just bridge that gap. And that seems to have cleaned up my cut lines, as we see here. And as we scroll down to those other decals, it's closed that gap there as well. So I think looking at this, I think we've got a good scan. And what I want to watch out for is make sure that it doesn't peel up the stickers as it cuts it out. That might have been a function of just cutting too deep. So usually these sharp corners here get picked up, at least in our last, see, we got picked up there. So we don't want that happening. All right, so we cut that out. Let's look and see how we did. We did cut through the paper still, but we're a lot better than before, so I might be able to get this off without losing any stickers. So we're getting better. We're still cutting through, but not as bad as before. So let's keep moving through this, and let's go and try our hand at our second sheet. Again, the important thing that we're trying to work through is not cutting through the paper, and we're on its lowest setting now, and it looks like it did pretty good. For the first time, we didn't go through the paper. Let's see if we went through the sticker. So we'll just try to peel up one of these stickers and see if it cut through the decal. We did. So there we go. We have pre-cut decals from Tamiya now. Not really pre-cut, just cut. So we finally were able to successfully cut out a sticker sheet without cutting through the paper. I think we're cutting close enough to the lines to actually use the decals on the body. So I would say it's a success, and I'm looking forward to, if I could do all my decals like this, this would greatly improve my enjoyment of body painting, at least for doing box art. So I look forward to using this in the future with future bodies. I think it's probably worth it, especially with the window masks and getting into kind of some of that custom stuff and wanting to save your vintage window masks or vintage decals, whatever. This will be useful for that. Anywho, thanks for tuning and watching. Take care. Bye.